Morning, Tushar. So, yeah, great to
Morning.
again catch up, right? And welcome to my podcast. So, essential idea was when you reached out, I knew this is an important topic of AI in education, especially for the underprivileged
Yes.
kids,
Yeah.
students. Yes, we have been doing quite a bit of work in the past 8 years, much
Mhm.
before even ChatGPT got launched.
Yes.
And I know we spoke uh, probably some of it during our meetup for the startup evaluation
Mm.
sessions, right? um, so uh, you mentioned, of course, you are going to be delivering a talk as well as probably a write-up in terms of
Mm.
the same
Yeah.
content on AI in education for underprivileged, right?
Yes.
So, broadly, I'll just give a broad sort of introduction. Then you ask me questions, so it's easy for me to
Yes.
sort of.
Sure.
I don't want it to be
Totally.
monologue.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Totally agree with you.
yeah. So, of all the I would call as the domains that artificial intelligence as a
Mm.
technology has immediately impacted, the first one has been education.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when you look at the broad hype about products like ChatGPT or Anthropic or you name it, right? I mean, I'm sure there are some 200 different products which are now
Yeah.
quite popular,
Yeah.
and we are hearing about unheard sums of money and investment pouring into all this sector. But the constant sort of gripe among people is there is no viable business use case. And
Mm.
it's like it's all hype, and there's actually not leading to anything. One side we have CEOs who are saying it's leading to job losses. They are replacing 30% of their workforce. But on the other hand, if you look at it, the people are still hiring people. I don't, at least I have not seen any magical AI agent replacing people end to end sort of stuff. At
Correct.
best, we may have heard about some people doing some content getting created, or probably
Yes.
about code being generated and things like that.
Yep.
Um, However, when we look at the education space, and this is something we did notice, even as I said about 8 years back when I started off Wisely Wise, and now we have the product on Smart Maya. We did notice that AI has the capability of rapidly disrupting every facet of education.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
if you look at usually the top three sort of complaints about the education industry per se is one, it has become very industrialized, which means there
Mm.
is no sort of personalized attention given to students,
Yeah.
defeating the very purpose of going to school.
Yeah.
Second, that uh, sort of I would say social initiative of education has become very commercialized. It's a business, right? Today we call it as an
Yes.
industry. Uh,
Yes. Correct.
while that's a disconnect. So if I say, for example, I'm launching an e-commerce business, people are happy about it. But the same thing, if you try to do something in education, people are more suspicious, and you don't really want to associate profit making with education sector.
So overtly profit centered, you don't want it to be.
That's a, I would just say, societal perception, right?
Societal.
In
Yeah.
terms of how education as a sector, I mean, education, healthcare are two sectors which come to my mind where people don't want to be seen as profit taking.
Yeah.
Reality might be different, but that's a story for
Yeah.
another podcast.
Yeah.
But this is the second gripe against this particular area, domain, vertical, whatever you call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And third is, of course, the cost of education has gone up tremendously high.
Yeah.
Whether it's tuition fees, it is the cost of other allied stuff, and people nowadays call it as a supply chain. So you start from somewhere in your kindergarten
Interesting.
years, then go on to schooling for 12 years, and then college is probably another 4 years, and there is no way that anybody can escape this. Finally, you land up in the rat race in the corporate world, and the cost of doing this and going into very specific brands has skyrocketed in the past few years.
Mm. True.
While on one hand you do see many colleges and universities opening up, people can travel freely, but still it is a big chunk of anybody's salary.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So these are the top three, if you ask me, are the gripe against industry, and AI is seen as a savior here. Why? One,
Mm.
you could do personalized one-to-one education
Yeah.
through chatbots and other forms, like you have, of course, like your products like ChatGPT, which you can build other products and things like that.
Yeah.
Second is, of course, it cannot be too costly, right? Because it's a
Yeah.
same AI. Many people can share the same chatbot, so cost probably are going to, really come down. And obviously, because the costs are coming down, it's not going to be seen as being profit making. I mean, how much can you earn from a chatbot? So because you're not, like, for example, going to have a lot of people, teachers, human employees, so the costs are going up. I need to have a building, all of those costs are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So AI is seen as a savior, and that's why it is coming up with a very rapid adoption in this particular segment. And I see my personal experiences, teachers, professors gain a lot by adopting AI.
Mm-hmm.
It brings down their levels of work. The administrative work alone is probably 40 to 60%, depending upon the level of
Yes.
teacher.
Correct.
And in the US, the number one cause of turnover of teachers is stress felt by the teachers, which I'm sure is true in other countries as well.
Almost everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom herself used to be a teacher, and I firsthand seen that even like 30 years back.
Right.
The amount of administrative work a teacher has to do, everything from creating lesson plans to creating what we call as notes of lessons, and then
Yeah.
submitting to the authorities. I mean, I could
Yeah.
go on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And whenever the government launches a new scheme, in many countries, they actually use the teachers as the civil servants to go out and implement those schemes.
Mm.
So you would see that AI is being used now by teachers to bring down that administrative work.
Right.
Slowly, it has also gone to the level where teachers are using it to, let's say, correct uh, exam papers, set new exam
Set
papers.
papers. Yeah.
It could now suddenly, it's all about content creation. And the teachers find that instead of me spending like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I can do it in probably 3 hours or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And many of them are doing many creative things with that. It
Yeah.
could extend not just in terms of lesson plans, but it could be in terms of creating images.
Yeah.
It could be in terms of even videos nowadays, voice
Yeah.
based things. So suddenly teachers are also seeing their teaching techniques are becoming more effective. Why? Because it's
Mm.
no more the written word.
Mm.
I can use so
Right.
many forms of communication,
Yeah.
and it's
So
easy.
multimodal kind of a
Correct.
concept as well.
Correct. Now, the
Mm.
same thing, if people argue that we always had CBTs, right? Computer-based tutorials, we had YouTube and all of that.
Yeah.
But the two challenges with those sort of forms of technology is, one is it is not interactive. I mean,
Yeah.
what can you do with a YouTube video? You can only see that.
Yeah. You can just watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. And second, it's not customized. So I may be a teacher, I have a certain style of doing stuff, and I want it to be, maybe I want to just build a quick video game explaining the, let's say, the atom and the molecule. And I don't want to go for some general video somebody probably has done in the UK or the US.
Yeah.
So that's another aspect why AI is being rapidly being adopted. So that's a whole gamut of adoption happening. So if you look at companies like Google or OpenAI, that's
Mm.
why the very, very first initiatives they have launched for the education domain.
Mm.
And the very
Correct.
first set
Correct.
of people who have been beta testing the products or
Mm.
adopting the products, you would see are typically professors,
Mm. Correct. Correct.
right?
Very true. Yeah.
So that's a model I'm sure you would recall has been successfully done by companies like Microsoft starting in
Yeah.
the 90s.
Correct.
Go behind that, because that's where your workforce is originating from.
Mm.
So you capture their mind share at that point of time, and then later on they come in and adopt your technologies.
Yeah.
So these guys are all following the same playbook.
Mm. So they're
Right.
using the old classic principles, but adopting it to the technologies they bring to the table.
Correct. So,
An
so
interesting perspective, actually. It's a very valid one.
yes.
Mm.
So when we go again, we have been taking a stance that great AI is great, all of that stuff is great, a lot of infrastructure. We are enjoying all of the technology, but what about the underprivileged
Yeah.
students?
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about underprivileged, it's both financially, physically underprivileged, and probably don't even have access. And which I've seen with
Yes.
my own eyes in many parts of the world, because I myself am a master teacher. I go
Mm.
and take classes in these schools, right from
Okay.
some of the most prominent international ones in Singapore So
Okay.
some of them which are quite remote in Indonesia and India. We also do with schools, surprisingly, even in the US, with not a lot of access.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So you'd be very surprised that access is very unequal worldwide, not necessarily only in, I would say, developing countries, if I can use that
Correct.
term anymore.
So yeah.
And it's what you could call that many people are simply not even aware that something like AI
Mm,
is coming up.
correct.
In my various travels I've done to many colleges and all of them, there is strong resistance by the computer science departments to adopt AI because they view it as an existential threat. They think they know AI, which is not the case.
Yeah.
um, the other departments like chemistry or language are very keen to adopt it. So if
Mm,
you look at it, very recently in the Singapore ministry had the Tech Excel Fest, where I actually
yes.
took a workshop for about 120 teachers for especially for language teaching using artificial intelligence.
Okay. Ah, that was the piece that you published on LinkedIn.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they are very hungry to adopt this, but
Okay.
you won't see that equally done, maybe even within the same school or even within the same college or
Mm,
university.
mm, mm.
So we have been trying to break this mold also by partnering with many foundations, many CSRs, that corporate social responsible
Right.
organizations. I mean, non-profits in the broad sense of the term, which
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
also includes governments.
yeah.
And we have done this again in quite some remote parts of the world, and
Okay.
they have been sponsoring a lot of this, and we have been giving it at quite I would say dirt cheap rates,
Yeah.
because we want the volumes to be there.
Mm,
Otherwise it just turns into another profit making initiative.
correct, correct.
And we had to design a curriculum, we had to design what we can call the teacher training material. We had to design an online course, and slowly over that particular sort of initiative, we also figured out that we have to create age appropriate
Mm-hmm.
curriculum
Yeah,
content. It has to be
yeah.
in line with international standards,
Correct,
and
correct.
AI doesn't have one common international standard. I doubt if there are any standards probably worldwide. There are a lot of, I would say, policies and guidelines given by people.
Yeah, yeah,
So we have to do everything from scratch.
yeah.
And then comes the challenge of language. You
Mm-hmm.
typically do it in English, but
Yeah,
not everybody speaks English or thinks in English.
correct.
We had to do it in other languages, which means we had to bring in people who are like bilingual or trilingual,
Correct.
English plus another language. Then again, we had to shoot all the videos. And then we started encountering more specific problems because people have issues on buying data plans. It's not easy
Right.
to run an online
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So you need sponsors for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to
Mm-hmm.
work with these non-profits, and then the non-profits figured out a lot of issues. Then they actually bought mobiles, tablets, distributed it to schools. And it's not so easy to do under government
Oh
policies.
yeah, absolutely.
So they had to put a lot of effort to get all the permissions locally. I can't just, for example, walk into a government school.
No, no, no chance.
It's
Yeah,
it's
no
a
chance. Yeah,
so
I've
it's
I've dealt a little bit with even polytechnics and ITs, and I know what you mean.
yeah,
So completely understand.
right. So that is how we've been doing for the past 8 years, because our intention is that first let us reduce the access inequality.
Mm, mm.
And once you are able to get it through to those who really can adopt it and require it, and then we slowly start solving one after the other challenges, right? I can't do everything on day one.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we slowly also worked with the government. So for example, we did it with some of the state governments in India. We
Okay,
connected our portal to their portal for the online courses. In fact, we
okay.
also did it with NSDC, the National Skill Development Corporation in India.
Yeah, yeah.
And anybody who's a citizen can just log in and access our courses free of cost.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and then people wanted us to do physical courses, which means you have to go to the schools and colleges to do, which we started recruiting people, training them, giving them meaningful employment, and sending them out to these various schools and colleges in a physical mode also.
Okay.
So now, if you
Okay.
look at it, education has become even more challenging because post-COVID, people want, uh, depending on their what you can call criteria, they either want fully online, or they want fully physical, or they want a hybrid. So it becomes very challenging as an operating model,
True.
because you simply cannot just have resources to cater to all types of operating models at the same time.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
So
Very true.
and at the same time, I noticed a pattern in the past 2 years that these AI and AI agents, which we prominently call in 2025, are going to rapidly become the norm as we go forward.
Mm.
It may not be in a good shape at this point of time, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that before end of this year, the things will change dramatically.
Yeah.
In fact, yesterday, I think OpenAI new model launched, and I
Yeah.
believe it won the gold medal in the International Max Olympiad, which was never done by any AI model.
Wow.
So
Okay.
the benchmarks are being broken on a literally weekly basis.
Right.
So we said, look, the future is not probably going to be, education is not going to be in the same model as we have done till now. Probably it is going to be that you are going to be like how we are working with a computer now or a mobile. It's going to be with an AI agent. It's not going to be probably over the next few years that I have to really go to a training center. I need a teacher. I need to do, sort of resources and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I will learn more by doing than first learning and then doing. And
Okay.
we then slowly figured out that we need to have AI agents, which we build and give it to both teachers and students, and give them the full power of how to use AI, which means everything from
Mm.
they can create their own agents. A student, for example, can take the lesson plan from their teachers, and then they can create their own study plan. And the study plan is customized to what the teacher has given to them as a lesson plan. And there is complete sync
Right.
in what both of them are doing. And they only contact the teacher, or the teacher contacts the student when they want a one-is-to-one personalized sort of doubt clearing sessions, or the teacher wants to conduct a assessment, or the government mandated exams. So it's rapidly going towards that space.
So that means that, do you think that means that there is going to be less and less social interaction between student and teacher, as in physical?
I think that's what is going to be the prominent model, and that is what I would say the next generations are wanting also. So
Hmm.
in a very, I would say, it's fast moving towards a sweet spot where all of these factors are coming together. So,
Hmm. Interesting.
I mean, people may argue it is 5 years down the line, 50 years down the line, but I can see it happening already. Uh, you already are seeing people only going for online courses. Online degrees are now dime a dozen. About 3 years back, I never heard about online degrees.
Yeah.
But now I'm talking about proper, I would say, registered and, government.
Accredited university giving online degrees.
Yes, online degrees. You see, even the IITs are now giving their bachelors online.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I see many of them. I've met many folks who are doing this, sitting in Delhi and then taking a course with, let's say, IIT Madras. So you
Okay.
simply cannot escape the tsunami of change which is happening in this space.
Earlier we used to have, remember, OG, what is it? Open University, Open OGU, or what is it in India? Open University, there was something. IGNU,
IGNOR. For
IGNU, right?
that we used to get, I think, by postal the documents.
Correct,
People used
correct,
to
correct.
take it.
So that is now you're saying that model is now moving on to the online space, pretty
Correct.
much.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Okay. So in that, given all of this context, which aspect do you think would keep schools or administrators up at night? One, if you had to just start with one, two, three. I mean, I can't say just one because there's no one. And then secondly, therefore, which aspects would also the audience or the students really want to see the fastest shift in?
See, right now, I think the administrators and the professors or teachers are really having sleepless nights with the content creation and assessments by students. It is being completely done by ChatGPT as we speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
You take a school student or you take a college student, even a PhD level student, right? I'm sure you are aware
Yeah.
of the controversies in NUS, uh,
Yes.
because somebody submitted even some thesis papers using
Yeah.
ChatGPT or some stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, what happens if even at PhD level people are sort of refusing to do it the old manual way and trying to do it within a few minutes of using ChatGPT? Now, that is really becoming a big friction point between the, I would call, the system on one side and the students on the other side.
Yeah.
I don't see any easy way out. I'm sure some of them are experimenting with pen and paper.
Hmm.
But yeah, but the
Yeah.
student side of story is that if the professors are using ChatGPT, why can't we? Which is a fair question to ask, right?
Fair question.
If you're using AI, why should I be denied that
Yep.
whole technology being used? I mean, we can always debate whether it's ethically wrong. People are comparing it to having used calculators. I
Yeah.
still remember for the entrance exams, we used to memorize the log tables, the pi tables,
Yes. Absolutely.
right? Multiplication tables, you probably go up to 30, 40 or so.
Easy. Yeah. Yeah.
And we used to buy those small books from the second-hand bookshops, and that used to be a different thing, right? Today I can't expect any of them to literally memorize or do the stuff that we used to do.
I mean, they can't even memorize a single phone number, probably.
Correct. So this is the challenge in front of the administrators, and
Hmm.
the adoption rate is, if you ask me, at least the creamy layers of society worldwide is 100%,
Hmm.
which again comes back to the same access problem.
It's an access, the equity, yeah, equitable access for all.
Yeah, if I can write a better essay and I can get admission to university, and another student who's probably more gifted and brilliant but they do not have access, they will be denied a seat. Maybe I will learn better with this model. The other person still has to go with the older teacher, and I have seen people arguing that you cannot like replace teachers or whatever. I'm telling them, do you know 95% of them don't even have teachers? Forget whether they have good teachers or bad teachers. I know schools where the government has decided to close down the schools because there are not enough teachers.
Hmm. I've heard this as well.
And you have teachers who are going through a lot of physical hardship, crossing mountains and rivers to go and probably teach a class of 10 people or 10 students or so.
Yeah.
Uh, these are all use cases where I feel AI is a very good fit.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can't like have a big butcher's knife and cut entire AI and say like, no, this is all bad. We need to have uh, you know
Correct.
teachers, and you can't replace. See, even within the same school, you may not have all of them operating at the same level,
Yes, of course.
and you also cannot have teachers being at the same level, let's say after 10 years of experience,
Yep.
or probably on the from January to February they may have different sort of energy level.
Mind frame and energy. Yeah.
And people go through life stages. At the end
Yeah.
of it, everyone is a human being,
Yes.
and you have to be very conscious of the fact also that teachers are the lowest paid in society.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
not your IT worker or
Absolutely.
what you can call a media person that
Yeah.
you can sort of claim, and there is so much of social responsibility on them, so much of emotional responsibility on them.
Correct. Correct.
So why do you want to really burden all of this when you really have methods to improve that, right?
Yeah.
And we always say good teachers, but how many good teachers are available,
True.
right? I'm sure if you go back to your school days or college days, I don't think that you'll say that all of them were equally good.
No, I think probably across what 16, 17 years in school and college, or 18 years, maybe 10 in total.
Correct. And maybe students in your class have a different opinion,
Yes, each one will have a different opinion. Correct.
right?
Absolutely.
So it's probably in the hands of people, to the seniors, to really look at where AI can really make an impact
Hmm.
and bring those for all this very repetitive, very sort of boring task, like for example answering doubts, very simple things like should I submit an assignment tomorrow, or if I am a visual learner, maybe you learn it better with text and textbook or whatever.
Yeah, but somebody else with images.
I'm more of a visual learner. So why are you denying me the opportunity of learning it? Because at the end of the day, I'm paying my fees.
Yes.
I'm not coming there to waste my time, right? And if I look at the lens of an administrator, if I'm going to put a parabola curve and I'm going to say that the first 5 percentile determines my school's success, what about the remaining 95%?
Yep. The
So you
big
can't,
chunk.
yeah, you can't say they're backbenchers and they never come up in life sort of story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's all,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of such discussions which has to come up.
Mm,
And our objective has been that when you talk about underprivileged, most of them are underprivileged because of all these issues,
correct. Correct.
not just because of money or
Not
lack
just
of.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. And I gone to hundreds of colleges again. If you look at the higher education side, what is worrying for me is not the lack of Wi-Fi or laptops. In fact, that is easy in today's world to get for students,
Yeah.
but the critical college infrastructure is missing. The buildings are dilapidated, the labs are non-existent, uh, they just don't have enough professors, people who are really skilled in their domain. So you have more systemic problems. AI is not a problem if you ask me
No.
for education.
Absolutely. No. Absolutely. I'm just trying to say where are the. I actually meant it as where are the biggest challenges for administrators in general. AI might potentially solve those. Some of those is what I'm trying to say. And then for the students as well, what are the biggest things they want to see change? Again, education wide, because AI then becomes a tool of sorts, right? It is not the solution. It is a tool to bring you to a solution.
That's right. So it is fast moving to a place where probably it will replace a lot of teachers.
Mm,
Now, whether it's ethically, morally correct is all up for debate.
yeah.
Um, Again, when there is an advent of a new technology, it is very tough for anybody to predict which direction it might take.
Correct.
And change doesn't happen the same throughout society.
Yep.
It probably goes in like very small paces of change.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that the education sector system administrators have to realize is this change is permanent.
Yes.
We're not going to go back to a pre-AI era.
Yeah.
Now, start planning for that, and then
Correct.
start putting in things which will start changing the system and things for the better. You can't like put your head in the sand and behave like a ostrich, right?
Ostrich. Yeah.
Saying,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to change all of this stuff and nothing is going to change. Good teachers are there. I think that era is over, right?
Fair point. I think.
It's all about skills, right? I mean, Singapore, for example, the government is very clear, right? You got to upskill, you got to skill yourself. You're not
Yep.
going to sit down and just take paper certificates, paper degrees, and that explains a lot of issues in the job market. So I'm saying that everything is intertwined with each other. It's not like one issue you can just separate and
Correct.
have it. And
Absolutely.
you are like sort of already late into this AI game. Ideally, people should have started 10 years back, and I
Yeah.
don't know why they didn't. We've been like shouting from the rooftops saying that everybody must be skilled in AI. We did a lot of programs and stuff like that. And even now, I'm saying that the resistance which people are showing in the education sector is mind-boggling.
Yes, because it is change, and change, like you said, everybody's afraid of change, right? Like you said, first is I lose my job. The computer science department. Oops, I'm gone. I'm history. Why should I change? And we see it across not just education, right? In every part of facet of the world, change is the biggest stumbling block, so to say, because oops, it's fear. Mera
Right.
kya hoga?
That's right.
So you're absolutely right. Yeah, okay, cool. So if you had to look at just putting a visionary lens ahead, right? And say 5 years on, I would say let's say 3 years, because AI is changing so rapidly. I think predicting 5 years is too long. Maybe 2 years down the road, or whatever you think. You tell me, 1 year is good, 2 years good, 3 years. What is the biggest change in education do you foresee AI bringing? And I'm not talking Singapore because Singapore is a bit unique. But if you look at countries like Malaysia, India, Indonesia, what is the one big flick that AI will really cause that will change, that could change in
Sure, sure.
education?
Let me just show a real this thing so it's easy for just to explain my use case.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm just showing you on screen is my platform, the AI agent
Yeah.
platform, Smart
Yeah.
Maya, right?
Yeah.
Now, could you guess how much time I would have taken to create this platform?
I mean, using AI, I don't know, probably half a day, less, 10 minutes.
Okay, so this is a very complicated platform because we have
Okay.
more than 300 plus AI agents, right? So, for
Right.
example, if I just take education tools, we
Mm.
have developed about 96 tools which helps a teacher or student do everything from behavior support ideas to classroom humor assistant to whatever, right?
Right. Right.
Now, how many uh, like say team members you think could have developed all of this? So we have all these education tools, we have another
Yeah.
100 marketing tools, sales tools, then we have tools which help us with meme generation, PPT generation, all of that. Just a guess.
Three people, maybe.
I just did it all by myself. And
Right.
surprisingly, the whole thing was also done by AI.
Hmm.
In the sense, it's not that I used AI and then AI went and coded. I use AI so that it can independently create a lot of these products by itself,
Okay. Okay.
right? So imagine training an AI to develop its own AI. So
Mm.
that's the sort of I just want to bring across the productivity point.
Right.
If you had asked me in my tenure earlier in companies like IBM or so, I probably would have said, okay, this is going to take, let's say, 6 months, and then probably we'll need a 15-member team. We do everything from either say waterfall model or different sorts of models, project management, the investments in real estate, and you can name all of this. Probably it would have cost me up to $1 million to develop something like this. Now I can just do it for probably less than a few $100 over a period of, let's say, 1 month or so, just by myself. And this is the most latest tech stack also.
Right.
So you can imagine the productivity which could come now in every segment of society.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you are a
Yeah.
lawyer, you could probably attend to more cases. You could probably, instead of
Correct.
having paralegals, right, as they say, uh, instead of you having a 15 juniors team, you probably could do it with 3 juniors,
Hmm.
and you can probably take on more cases,
Hmm.
right? If you're a doctor,
Sure.
probably you can segregate your patients and probably you could attend to more patients, increasing your
Yeah.
revenue,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a teacher, I could now teach more students
Mm.
and have more one-on-one with students who really require it,
Mm.
and allow the others to have the power of AI to really learn these concepts.
Mm.
And as I said, automate all of the other stuff that is required, right from assessment to your questioning to any of these things which are out over there, right? And I
Right.
could have continuous assessment. I don't have to have, let's say, two assessments, half yearly or yearly.
Yeah.
I don't have to have maybe monthly tests, and I could literally have a report card which is very genuine about a student's progress.
Yeah.
And I could probably get more metrics in terms of where a student is falling off, let's say, what is an acceptable level of learning. And then I can plan my interventions. Today, it's not scientific, right?
Yeah.
It is just the teacher looks into the class physically, visually, and then they come to some conclusions.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Correct.
international schools might say, "Hey, we are dashboards, analytics, and all of that," but that is all post the event, right? Not
Yeah.
prior to the event.
Correct.
And they give out whatever cards, report cards, which is basically having a bunch of numbers which you can't interpret in any meaningful way.
Meaningful way. Yeah.
Yeah, there are more milestones, right? That it's not
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah. 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 Correct. Correct. You're right. I think people forget, they mix up the two.
Yeah. So I have to assume the progress. That's a problem, right? So that is the ways that you could be more innovative. And I think this is the direction, the vision in which the whole thing has to go in terms of making it much more productive
Mm.
for everyone concerned and making it as a win-win situation. Not the sort of friction I'm seeing today on a daily basis in the education sector,
Yeah. Yeah. Fair
right?
point. Yeah.
And I have students who, you won't believe it, right from the junior schools, who have been doing much more complex engagements, and not
Mm.
necessarily IT projects. Everybody thinks that we are teaching IT, computer science projects.
Mm.
It could be everything from biology to chemistry, right? They
Yeah.
could adopt it as part of their overall learning perspective. Like, for example, if I looked at the subject of history, I mean,
Hmm.
my daughter came to me and she actually asked me a question about who was the real sort of mentor or guru of Napoleon. Uh,
Okay.
of course, I didn't know that. So I said, like,
Yeah.
I was saying, I think it was one of his that political gurus or somebody, and some name was there, sort of stuff. Then she argued, no, because my book says that it's his some aunt or somebody was the real mentor. I said, well, I'm busy. I can't really sit down and figure out all of this stuff. But why don't I do one thing? So I said, gone into voice mode with ChatGPT and said, like, ChatGPT, assume yourself you are Napoleon. Have a chat with my daughter and answer all these questions. Then she put the ChatGPT on the spot by cross questioning a lot of stuff.
Mm.
And then she could go to many sources of information, including, let's say, books from library or her own books or Wikipedia and things like that, to come to a conclusion as to what really happened. Now that process was enlightening for me. I was thinking that students could now really use AI in the sense of getting, as we say, from the horse's mouth.
Hmm.
What if we get Einstein to come and teach you calculus? That's the sort of innovation we should bring in, rather than worry about saying that whether AI is hallucinating or whatever, because you have to be in a position where you can really analyze. um, you can cross check a lot of stuff nowadays.
I think that is a very important point you mentioned about your daughter's discussion with you, the cross questioning. The concept of cross questioning comes in when you are able to think and challenge that, I can't take everything at face value, which is kind of where the hallucination story also is right now, right? So one piece is then how is it going to happen that hallucinations will, I won't say minimize rather than go to zero, because I can't foresee it. I'm sure they'll go down to close to zero. That's one. And will that be a default state of affairs that in any AI application, hallucination will be minimized? That's one. Let's assume that happens. But if AI becomes a very, very integral tool for education across demand and supply, very simplistically, teachers, educators, and students, will they still be able, how will they continue being able to cross question or think that they have to question it? And secondly, do you see a reduction in tactile experiences because of reliance on AI? That means a lot of our motor skills, etc., will go down. That is another part of the pie, right? That, I'm constantly looking at a screen and asking for guidance and looking for answers. But am I therefore not able to, if you play a game of cricket, am I playing the ball correctly, the best possible way to hit a cover drive or bowl the best leg break like a Shane Warne, something like this. So the tactile experience part, are we going to lose, or how do you see that being impacted by AI over time?
It's purely up to, I would say, the people concerned to figure out what is the fit use case of AI as to where it can give you the maximum impact.
Mm.
um I mean, to be if you look at, for example, aviation industry, I was quite surprised that when I found out that many of the pilots, they actually start off with the Microsoft flight simulator. uh then I'm like, did they really fly the real planes, or probably it was just a warm up before they
Correct.
learn to run the real planes?
Yes.
So you do have this sort of real world experiences where people probably are using technology as more of a simulation for doing a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and then figure out as to whether you go into more what you can call lesser risk aspects of learning or implementing. So if
Hmm.
I'm a, let's say I'm a city planner, I'm a civil engineer,
Yeah.
and I have to plan for some buildings or some new stuff. Am I going to not use AI and lose out on that whole simulation because the AI can probably think in many data points?
Yeah.
Or am I going to still rely on older methods where probably the risk is much higher? I mean, I still have to build the buildings. AI is
Yes.
not going to do that for you.
Correct.
Probably it might with robots
Correct.
later on,
Yeah.
but that is looking at the extremes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we are looking at how do we reduce the risk on the planet?
Yeah.
Like if I'm a business guy, how do I reduce the risk for my business?
Mm.
That's no tactile experience I need to bring in here. I probably have to run a lot of simulations, a lot of strategy frameworks,
Yeah.
and I'm good to go, right? I could test a lot of business models.
Mm.
I could ask ChatGPT to be an expert to figure out the like loopholes. Some places you need regulatory oversight, probably things like healthcare or insurance.
Yeah.
That is default, right?
Correct.
You don't
Correct.
want to trust a drug which is created by ChatGPT,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, so it's definitely going to be a booming industry for people to figure out as to what's going to happen in which industry, to what level I have to implement AI. And we see we keep referring even in this podcast around things only around ChatGPT or products like Maya. But
Yeah.
the I would say the negative aspect of all the hype is people only think AI is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is AI, which is wrong.
This
There's
is
so much of
absolutely correct.
other AI technology, machine learning, computer vision,
Yeah.
things which are happening out. So
Yeah.
it is literally a mistake not to think about the impact of all of those on a lot of stuff which
Okay.
is happening in the world, and there's silently it's happening all around us.
Yeah. Absolutely true. Yeah. One last piece which I asked you earlier, cross questioning. How do you think it's that part is going to evolve if people rely more and more on AI? How do you check validation? Is this correct verification? That this I should believe this because that's I think a lot of students today also find that as a challenge. That there's so much information out there. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe.
So it's for you to two aspects, right? Again, you have to be clear where AI can really help you.
No, but as students, you might struggle. Probably is what I'm trying to think. Teachers, at least, let's say, slightly more thought through process, maybe. But the younger generation.
That's right. You can't blindly believe AI. That's for sure.
Hmm.
But at least
But
you
how
will have
would they
have
go
a
about cross questioning? Is the that
yeah,
part is then is it a home thing where you and at home how are you taught to think and learn, or also at school along with peers? Is it all going to be a mix of? And so I'm trying to bring back the social side into the tech side and saying a better combination of the two.
yes. So if you are going to, as I said, blindly believe AI is going to lead to a lot of problems.
Mm.
But you also have to have a lot of common sense in terms of how do I really cross check a lot of stuff that AI is doing. So,
Yeah,
for example, if I'm doing a math problem, it's very easy for me to cross verify. I just solve it and figure out whether it's correct or not,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when it comes to things like debates, whether
Mm.
something happened or did not happen, or what is the real reason
Factual.
XYZ did or whatever, the problem is even in today's society, a lot of these things are up for debate.
That's true. That's true.
You may have learned history in a certain way. I may have learned it differently. We may not both agree, as to what really happened.
Correct.
I may like my version of the story,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True.
what I got taught.
The personal biases of sorts, unconscious
Correct. So,
preferences, not just biases. Yeah,
so I always say that the issues with all of these is not about AI. AI is just trained on data from society.
correct.
If you are having all fake data, artificial data, data which is in one direction, well, AI is also going to tom the same stuff.
Correct. It almost is like your prompt engineering, right? The way you ask your question, you'll get an answer on the chat GPT equivalent models.
Correct. Correct.
Almost biased towards your question.
Yeah. So that's the thing that we it's a tall order, right? It's more often
Yeah.
we call it as the paradise, which probably will never reach. Are we going to eliminate all that so-called bias and things and stuff like that? I
No,
doubt it's going to happen.
doubtful. Yeah.
But if you don't do that, then don't blame the AI.
I think that is the important point, that don't blame the tool, don't blame the messenger, pretty much.
Correct.
Yeah,
So it's a societal issue. It's got nothing to do with the technology per se, and
correct.
it's not going to get better, right?
True.
It's a AI is like say no, it's an amplification.
Mm,
If you already
correct.
have a problem, it's only going to amplify the problem. It's not going to solve the problem,
Yeah.
right?
Either the problem or the solution. Either way, it'll amplify one of the two.
Yeah, in computer science, we have the term called GIGO, right? Garbage in, garbage out.
Yep, yep, yep.
So if you have a rotten society, your AI is going to be equally rotten.
Very true. This is very, very true. It's a societal issue. You're right. Absolutely. Cool. I'm. Hey, thanks a lot for your time, Chandra. This was
Thank-
really useful. Like I said, you're the very first person I'm talking to. I'm going to talk to a few more, and as I put stuff together, I'm happy to share it with you.
Sure.
And maybe
Happy.
one day I'll also introduce you to this person here in Singapore who runs the nonprofit. And let's see. If
Sure.
nothing else, this will be a good conversation with them.
Absolutely. Always nice
Yeah.
to network, right?
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so much.
let's catch up some point in time anyway.
Oh, sure, sure. We will do.
Yeah.
If you may
All
travel,
right.
we'll do.
Thanks so
Thanks.
much,
Bye.
Chandra. Catch you
Take care.
later. Thank you. Bye. Bye.